Hi everyone, Sandeep here. This is the second video. Today I will show you some SQL tricky interview questions. So in the screen we have enlisted few SQL queries. These are very useful for our assignment. So from next screen I will show you one by one. This is our first question, how to find students that have the same name. Means if I have a student table and I have multiple students, means duplicates name. So if we have more than one time the same student name, then it will be shown from this query. So I have already mentioned the SQL query. I'm running it in the database. So this is a table. I have already inserted few dummy data in our table. Here I have inserted same name multiple times, but only the last one I have inserted. This is a single time only. So now I'm going to the another tab and running it. So here I have mentioned the student name and count star as repeat count, means if it is a more than one, then only it will be count, like how many times is there. And group by student name, I mention it. And having count, having means if I mention group by and condition is count star count more than one time, then only it will be shown in our result view. Now I'm execute it. So it is showing here like this way. So here student Anil Das is coming 3 times. Here Somen Roy is coming 4 times. If I go now the back side, 1, 2, 3, 4. Somen Roy is coming 4 times. Ramesh Ghosh is coming 3 times. So if you go here, Ramesh is coming 3 times. So if I use this query, then I can get, if it is a more than one time a duplicate entry is there, then how many times is inserted, that will be shown from this query. Group by student name and same name have to put, same field name have to put in the select query, and count in the bracket star means how many times inserted, that will be shown. And group name, same name is there, so group name same column name. And having count means is if it's a condition, if it is a more than one time, then only it will be show here. So this is a way we can find out if it is the same name multiple time in our date table. This is the second question. How can you find 10 employees with odd and even numbers as student ID? Suppose I have the dummy record, suppose 1 to 16 student ID. So if I require the odd student ID, so it will come like student ID 1, 3, 5, 7, like this, so it will come. And even means student ID 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, like this way, all the record will come this way. So now I have already mentioned these two SQL queries. One is even and one is for odd. So I'm just running first the even part. So what I did here, I'll show you. I first run the SQL query. Yeah. So here what happened is select star student ID comma star I mentioned. So student ID 2 times is coming. Student ID for this column, and the star means all the column is coming again. Now where student ID percentage 2 equal to 0. Percentage 2, if I mention 1, then it will become as odd. Percentage 2 equal to 0 means it will become as a even student ID. So here I mentioned 0 student ID percentage 2 equal to 0. So all the even student ID is coming in the result view. Now I'm going again in the our screen and taking the odd student ID SQL query, and now I'm going to again here. Now if I run it, it will be show all the odd student ID. Now I'm running it. So now it's coming 1357 this way. So how many student IDs there? All the data will come by this SQL query. So if this question is come even and odd, so we can like use where student ID or your primary key ID percentage 2 equal to 0 or 1. So this is the way we can find out even or odd the student ID or any primary key ID. Okay. Question is how to find employees with duplicate email. So here I have the dummy records and I have inserted same records multiple times. Shomen Roy with email ID shomen@gmail.com like this way. But the last one it's only one time I inserted bunty@gmail.com this one. So now let's see if I run the SQL query, the student ID 17 will not show. Apart from 17, all the other email ID and its student name will show in the result view. Now I run the SQL query. So here in the record, or I have Shomen Roy, Ramesh Ghosh, Anil, Sukumar, Kaushik, Basu. Every name is inserted multiple times. Only Bunty is one time. So if I check here, Bunty name is not here because that is inserted only one time. So here I mentioned having count star greater than 1 so that it is not coming here. So if I disable this one, then Bunty is coming because of condition is disabled. Having count star greater than 1, that is disabled, so that Bunty is coming now. So I enable again and now Bunty is disabled from the result view. So this is the way we can find out if we have inserted multiple times the same record, duplicate email IDs of course, then we can get from this SQL query. Our fourth question is how to find all employee whose names start with S. So we have already student table and few dummy data. So I have mentioned here 4 approaches. So I will show you one by one all the SQL query. Now I'm copying it and paste it again here. And we have to edit this SQL query as per SQL Server syntax. And this is our student table, and already we have the dummy data like till we have student ID 17. So now I'm checking this using this SQL query. Now if I execute it, all the student name will come which start with alphabet S. So now suppose we have another student name like Ramesh Ghosh. So R, it starts with R. So if I mention R, so all the R related student name will come in the result view. Yeah. So this is the way we can get the student names using this like and percentage SQL query. Our second approach is carry index. So I'm copying this SQL query and running the SQL server. So now I have to first edit the single quotation as per SQL syntax. So I'm first running it. So which student name start with S character, all the name student name will show in the result view. Now I'm going in the main table. Suppose Anil Dash. So here N is the second character. So char index means characters in which position, based on that it will be find out. So here Anil Das is the second position, N is the second character for Anil Das. So now I am checking with N and I mentioned 2 as a second character. So I believe Anil Das will come. Anil Das is coming. So now suppose I'm checking Bunty. So N I mention as a third character, then Bunty will come. If I mention 3 as a third character, then Bunty will come. So using char index, we can find out the student name, like which character in which index is there. Based on that, we can find out the student names. Our third approach is where left. So I'm copying this SQL query and run in the SQL server. This is the SQL query, and first I'm editing as per SQL syntax. Now I'm running it. So which name will start with S, those name will come. Now if I go same, suppose Anil Das, so we start with A character. So I have to mention A here. So Anil Das will come in the scenario. If I mention R, then Ramesh will come. So this is the way we can find out the student name, which names start with which character. Based on that, we can get all the student names. Okay. Our third approach is substring, using substring. So I'm copying this SQL query and run it over SQL server. So first I edit as per SQL syntax. First I run it. So which student name is start with S, all the student name will show here. Here another advantage is, suppose SOUM, for example, SOUM 4 character is there. So I mention here SOUM, and here I mention suppose 4 character, total 4 character is there. Then Showman Roy will come only. Yeah, Showman Roy will come only. So here substring means if you mention first index and last index, next index, so those character index only come, like character index. This is for one characters, and this is for one first to second, first to whichever character you record, that n type character will come here. For example, Anil Das, so ANIL. So I have to mention 1 to 4 ANIL. So Anil Das will come in by this query. Yes. So here another point is, for example, if I mention 3 here and I mention here 4 characters, then it will not show any result. Then it's a wrong query. It's a wrong query. So if I now here I mention 1, 2, 3. So here I have to mention ANI as a 3 characters. Then it will be show the proper result. Yeah, so this is the way we can find out the student name using substring. Yeah, so this is the fourth approaches. I have already explained it. So now we are going for next. Our fifth question is how to get the day, week, month, quarter, year from any date. So I have already mentioned the SQL query. So I'm just running it in the database and show you how to getting the data from the any dates. Here, suppose I mentioned, I just declared the date at the date with the data type, date time, and set that at the date equal to 2017 707 month and 15 is as a date. So now if I want to know the day, how from this date time, then I have to run this query. Okay, I have to include this one as well. So 15, because we have mentioned 15 is the last part. So if I mention suppose 20 and run the query, the 20 will come. 20 will come. Next query is date part, then mention week, comma, then date as week. So how many weeks is there, that will come from this SQL query. I just disable this SQL query and run it. Now let's see. So 29 will come. 29 means what? Like if I mention 07/20, so from I will check from 1. Suppose January 1. From January we have 4 week. Then February total we have suppose 8 week. If I go March, then we have total 12 week. So this way, this is the July month. So we can get total here 29 week if I count till July month. So by this SQL query, we can get the total weeks. Suppose now is going on 23 and now is November means 11. Now let's see how many weeks is we have already covered. Is it 47 weeks if I consider today's date. Now month, if I check it, now it will come is November 11th. Yeah, from this date we can get 11 as a November month. Now if I check date part, then quarter, so how many, which quarter now we can get it from this SQL query. So you just run it. It is a fourth quarter. Yeah, it is a fourth quarter we are getting it. So now if I check it, suppose 10 9 September 9 09 September. So it is a third quarter maybe. Yeah, it is a third quarter we are getting it from the SQL query. Now the last one, date part bracket year is there. So which year is going on currently, that we can get from this query. So now I just run directly. So it is coming 2023 as I mentioned in the declarations. So now if I mention 21, then it will come 21 only. So this is the way we can get day, week, month, quarter, year, everything from any date, time values. Our sixth question is how to find out even and odd rows from the table. So I have this student table and the dummy record in the table. Now I have mentioned two approaches in this query. Now one is using with temporary table. This is the first approach, and next one is common table expression with row numbers functions. So first I'm showing it the temporary table. Okay, I'm copying it and pasting the database. Okay, so here what I did it, first I have created one temporary table, and corresponding I mentioned the drop the table name, this temporary table, and then whatever the student record we have, I have inserted in the temporary table. Then in the odd rows what I did it, ID percentage 2 equal to 1 I mentioned for odd numbers, and if we need even rows, then ID percentage 2 equal to 0 I mention it. So now I'm just disable this one, then I can show only odd numbers. So now I just executing it, and then we are getting all the odd number, odd student ID and student names, everything. So we have total 17 records. So 1 3 5 7, like this way we are getting from our table. These are odd student IDs. Now I disable this odd rows SQL query and enable this even rows part. Now I run this full SQL query. So we are getting all the even rows. So student 2 4 6 8 10. So this way we are getting all the student IDs and its student names, everything. So this is the first approach by temporary table. we can get even and odd rows, student ID rows. Now our next approach is common table expression with row number function. So just I'm copying this SQL query and run it here. So if I check it, so here I mention with common table expression as select this student ID, student name, rows number function I mentioned over order ID, student ID. So student ID ordered by student ID means ascending order is. I didn't mention anything means default it is ascending order, and then select this student name from common table expression that I mentioned it. So now, and where row number percentage 2 equal to 1, so all the odd number will come from this table. So I'm just running this table. Yes, all the odd record is coming from this SQL query. If I mention 0 here, so all the even number will come from the SQL query. Yes. So we can get everything using common table expression, the same result. So we can use both the way. Our seventh question is how to create the table where the structure is copied from other table. It means suppose we have one master table, suppose student is a master table. So if I want to create any clone table or duplicate table from our existing table, so that all the column name will be copy and all the data will be copy in the clone table like this. This is the approach. So how we can do it? So here we have already the student table have, and we have the dummy data. And for this type of activity, I just created 3 approaches. So first I'm copying this first one and paste in the database. So here, okay, this is the test database. I'm just replacing it. And suppose we have uh, the duplicate table, clone table, suppose student 3, table student 3. So if I run it, so all the suppose this all the same column names, same data will copy in our new table. New table means student 3. It is till now it's not created. So I will create by this query and insert all the data in the same column name in this duplicate table. I just run it. Yes, it is done. Now I am just mention select star from this table name. So now I select star, I'm just executing it. Exactly. All the data is coming from the new table like this way. All the data is coming. So if I mention, suppose I'm checking table student 4. So 4 we don't have this table. I'm just showing you. Yeah, this is the invalid object name. This table not exist. But here I'm now run it this SQL query again with this table name. I'm running it. Now the data is inserted in the new table student 4 with the same column name, everything what I said already. Now I run this SQL query. See, all the record is inserted and all the column name, everything is inserted. It's a duplicate table. So few minutes back I show you this table is not exist in the database. Now it is exist with all the same data. So this is a way we can create the duplicate database, a duplicate table in our database from our master table. This is one. Another approach is this one. Suppose we want same duplicate table, we can use this one as well. So where 1 equal to 1 means same record will insert in our table. I'm showing you. So I mentioned 5. So if I check 5, there is no data. There is no data, no table as well. Now this is student 5. If I run it, all the record will insert. Now if I run this query, so now duplicate data is already ready for use. Okay. So our third approach is this one, where 1 equal to 2. It means if I run this SQL query, the table duplicate table will create, but data will not insert in the new table. Then that is the reason we can use 1 equal to 2. So if I run this one, suppose 6, and this is 6. This is 6. This is the 8th question, how to find all the employees who joined in and after the year of 2021. So this is the employee table and is the few dummy data we have. Now I mentioned here the one SQL query. I'm running it in the database and show you what is output. This is the employee table and we have some dummy data here. Now I'm just copy paste here. Okay, I have to disable one. I'm just first run this SQL query. Okay, here I mentioned is 2021. This is a date variable I declared with date time, and I mentioned what one date time value 2021 and 0101 this one. So if I check year and select date part year, if I select it, so from date time whatever the value we have, we can get the year from this SQL query. Now from the main SQL query, I am trying to get the joining date. So joining date and date part year, comma joining date if I mention it, so we can get the joining date year. Now from my input date time, we are getting 2021 from here. So now I can compare it like this date greater than 2021. So after 2021, if someone join it, so that record will come here. So suppose if I mention 2020, if I run it, so whoever joined after 2020, that part, those employee details will come. If I mention 2019, then after 2019, if someone is there, then the record will come in the result view. Yes. Now instead of greater than @year, now I am checking equal to. So whoever joined 2019, that record only show from the SQL query now. Yeah. So this record only show from this SQL query. So if I mention greater than @year, then after the if input year, whatever the year is mentioned, after that the year who joined here, those record will come. If I mention equal, then whatever the year I mentioned in the date time, that year whoever joined, those records will only come here. So this is the way we can get all the records, whoever joined 2018, 19, whatever the years. Now the ninth question is how to show the valid email from the table. So this is a student table and this is a dummy records we have already. So I have mentioned here two types email ID. First approach this one and second approach this one. So first I'm showing you with first approach. So this is the email ID I have already. So I'm copying and pasting in the database. And first I'm running it. So all the database is coming till 16. Yeah, till 16. Why? Now I'm going back to the main table, student table. If I check all the records, yeah, the Bunty. This is row number 17. Bunty at the rate gap, then Gmail ID is there. So it is not a correct email ID. So this is the way. If I check this by this query, so if anything is wrong in the email ID, then it will be not show like xyz@gmail.com. For example, this one, this is the email ID. So if I mention, suppose instead of showman xyz, then also it is correct. Suppose if I mention gap, then it is not correct. If I mention gap, this is also not correct. If I mention this gap, that also not correct. If I mention like this way, this is also not correct. So whatever the content here, your name, then you have to put here, maybe with underscore as well. Underscore also fine. Like this one also fine. But @gmail.com, we have to write it without any gap, so then it is a correct email ID. So now what I did it here, valid email ID from student, and where email like percentage underscore at the rate. So I mention like this way, and pat index, this is the syntax script I mentioned in the SQL query, comma email. So email is my column name, and this is the script, we have to remember it. So if I run it, then all the valid email ID will come in the result view. Also, I will mention in the description of this YouTube this script, this email, this SQL query, so that you can get from there. This is the first approach. Another approach is this one. So I'm copying it and run it again. So now I have few email ID. So if it is a correct email ID, then validity will show 1. If it is a wrong email ID, then validity is showing 0, like this way. So here, okay, like here I mentioned double at the rate, that is not possible, so 0. But here .com, instead of .com we can mention also .c, that also correct. So here it is coming validity 1. So like this way we can get validity 1 and 0. 1 means correct and 0 means wrong email ID. So we can get like this. And this is a function we have already created in our database. This is the function. So I will mention in the description, so you can get from there.